Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban. Why isn't it New Lang Syne?
Today we are talking about episode number 162, Yami no Shingenchi Dead Moon Circus in Japanese, The Source of Darkness, Dead Moon Circus, the English translation, and the English title, Showtime Showdown.
Don't go over.
Yeah.
Pala.
Yeah, that's right.
Ride that ball right up to the line. And then if you get it wrong, then Ami's like, I bet $1.
Yeah,
and
she would, but she would be the one betting $1.
And she'll win.
Yeah.
She'll walk away with even more appliances.
That's right.
That she doesn't need. Yeah,
just her and her mother.
The show, yes, right. Just cooking for two.
Yeah.
Or for one.
Yeah,
Mom's
probably
just gonna,
a lot for
get
one.
McDonald's on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, such a sad experience. But not like our new year.
No.
A happy new year.
A happy new year.
A new year where, in this new world, he's getting serious, everybody.
Yep.
He's bringing the room down. Where every year is just the worst now.
Yeah. It's a new dumpster fire.
I know that's like a meme, and that's not a good, take it from me, that's not a good habit to get into.
No.
Look, I'm not saying things are good. I'm not saying they were even better than they were. But doing that thing where it's like, a double middle fingers on the way out of the door, to the Grim Reaper, and then kick the baby on the way in. It's not, let's be positive about things.
Yeah, let's be positive.
Things aren't great. And even things are changing. Things are constantly in flux. I don't think about everything in terms of content creation, but there's a couple. No, I don't. There's a couple content creators recently who have decided that this is the year that they're going to sort of switch things up and call it quits. People may know Tom Scott. He's the kind of weird looking white dude in the red shirt,
right?
Who jumps off of buildings and.
He jumps out of buildings?
He's kind of got like a one-man Mythbuster thing going on.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Kind of, but he sort of interrogates problems and does interesting videos, and he announced for the new year that he's not making videos anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's done it for 10 years, and he's just, ready to do something else.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
There's another premature gray hair guy on YouTube named Joel Haver who makes comedy videos, and he's done weekly uploads since 2018.
It's a long time.
264 weeks.
Wow.
And he just announced that he's not doing weeklies anymore. He's going to try to make 12 feature films this year.
Oh.
He's going to make a film a month, which is quite the undertaking, and it's a challenge, but he won't, be posting the weekly things that people come to his channel for.
Sure.
And so both of these guys, I don't know where they are financially, but they're both basically saying, I don't need the YouTube revenue. They're not going to Nebula. I mean, they have Patreons, of course.
Right.
I know that Joel does. I don't know if Tom does. But they're both saying, creativity and getting to the next thing is more important than, getting the, toothpaste money for
sure,
whatever,
right.
or whatever, the denture ads or whatever they're selling you on YouTube.
Exactly.
And that's why we're announcing that we're not going to.
Don't scare them.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Maybe to YouTube, though. There's a hole to fill.
There is a hole to fill.
People are going to go, I just want to see a guy hang from a helicopter, but I guess I'll watch this video about Sailor Moon. And so that is kind of the announcement that we are heading to YouTube, folks. Yeah. It's time we got all the plans. We've just over-planned. Everything's too planned now, and things just need to start happening.
Yeah.
That's how Joel did it. That's how Tom did it. That's how we're going to do it, too. And so, we wish that we had a better setup, expensive equipment, better haircuts, but we're just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, this is the positive. Yes, we're leaving the dumpster fire, walking into a fresh dumpster fire. Well, there's diapers in this one.
Oh, God, gross.
But the thing is that there are much uglier, much less talented people than us who are very successful.
That's true.
I don't mean to, hey, I support creators, and I don't mean to. That's the worst compliment I could ever give somebody. But we don't need to worry about that. We should just need to start doing this.
Yeah.
So we'll have, I guess more updates on that and places that you can go and, yada, 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 when that's ready to go. But we've got a lot of stuff that we want to share, and we're ready to do it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into that.
Yes.
I know you're excited about it.
I am excited about it. I think it'll be good to like push myself outside of my comfort zone and do YouTube videos.
And because your comfort zone,
okay,
it's like a 6-inch sphere in the middle of your body.
All right.
You're always pushing it. Literally everything is outside your comfort zone.
Oh, come on now. I don't know about that.
Whereas my comfort zone is planetary.
Okay. It's been a rough start to the year for Japan.
Yeah. Wow, you want to, okay.
Well,
She's like, if you can bring it down, I can bring it down further.
Yeah, I mean.
How low can I go?
Earthquake with a ton of aftershocks.
Yeah.
And they're talking about could be a lot of aftershocks still to come. I mean, the entire western coast was affected by this. And it was felt in Tokyo too, I know. So, I mean, it was felt like basically throughout the country. Felt in Russia.
Yeah.
There was a tsunami warning for Russia as well as parts of Japan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It just happened. So,
yeah.
We'll talk about maybe more next week when we have more time to talk about it.
Yeah.
And things have become more clear as to what's going on. But yeah, that's a rough wake up call.
Yeah.
Not great. But, we're going to keep going.
Yep.
And people got to keep going.
Yep, that's right.
Can't give up in the first week of the year.
No, you can't. You got to
save
keep
that for
on
the second
going.
week of the year.
And I'm done.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
We want to share with you some remarks that listeners made all the way back in the middle of last December when we took our break. And so some of these are, a little dated. There's a comment from Fandom Casual on our episode 160, Dream to be an Adult, the Amazoness's Confusion, where Fandom says, may your feasts be plentiful and your awkward social obligations be brief. Happy holidays.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, and happy late holidays to you. I think we got that right. Or maybe the awkward social obligations were plentiful and the feasts were brief. But either way we did it, we owned it.
Yes.
And we have some comments on our very last episode, Terror in Motion, The Dark Queen's Evil Hand, number 161. User or listener, Sidarian says, the highlight of this lame season is really your Pegasus characterization. It's the glue that's holding us on till the next season.
Oh,
and
my
I believe
God.
I know what you did there.
Yeah.
And out of respect, I will not enter the pun war with Sidarian. Not today. Because they would be rode hard and put away wet. Let's just say that.
Oh, my God.
But thank you so much for your comment. And we have another comment on that episode from Black Star Raven, who says, Mikan Hana's poker face is strong, concealing thoughts all day long. Hiding behind a mask so well. Cal can't tell what the show will unveil. 5 more episodes to go. Sailor Moon, Super S, this cursed show. So thank you, Black Star Raven. Yeah, well, you're right. There's 5 more to go.
Yeah.
And this is another one of them.
This is. Are you excited for the end of Supers?
I don't want to give away. I've watched the episode that we're going to talk about today.
Right.
And I don't want to give away my reaction to it.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
Now I have something to conceal.
Oh.
But let's just say, however an episode is going, it usually picks up near the end. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I also know I'll probably be... Disappointed is not the right word. It's too wide.
It's too vast.
I'll just be more... What's a word that's like disappointed? I'll just be more... Disappointed. That's the only word that I've got.
Let down.
Chagrined. Does that
Chagrined
does that
works.
Fit?
Yeah.
It'll just be more like... Well,
got me again.
that's where we are.
Yeah.
At this point, you've built things that you can't take down in 5 episodes.
Yeah, right.
And so they're just going to land the way they land.
Yeah. Well, let's get down to it, shall we? And give us a breakdown.
Do the hoedown.
The hoedown? Yeah.
Do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. To do that, we have to remember where we were on the last episode, because this picks up right where that cliffhanger left off, with the Senshi contemplating the unseasonable eclipse. As they stand outside the Dead Moon's big top, while Pegasus has appeared in the sky above them, warning them not to approach the Dead Moon now. Pegasus descends to the street, and Chibi runs to embrace him, as Sailor Mars says, why shouldn't we take on the Dead Moon? And Sailor Jupiter says, are you saying we aren't strong enough to take them on? And she does a Rosie the Riveter pose. Pegasus says, they aren't an opponent that can be defeated by force. I hope you're ready for some more backfill exposition, because here we go. And we see once again the assault by the Dead Moon on the dreamland of Elysian. Pegasus says, the Dead Moon are monsters created from remnants of dreams thrown away by people who have forgotten how to dream. As long as there are dreams to be wasted, the Dead Moon can't be defeated. And Sailor Moon says, tell me, what in the world are you? And Pegasus says, well, I'm a Pisces. I am Helios, priest of Elysian, the one who guards the dreams of the people of Earth. And Chibi says, Pegasus. And Pegasus nuzzles her like, quiet, Daddy's talking.
Oh, God.
Elysian had sealed the Dead Moon away using the power from the beautiful dreams of people. Not the dreams of the beautiful people. That's something different. But the power of the seal decreased, and they awakened the Queen of the Dead Moon. And we see the silvery, cat-pupiled eye of Queen Nehelania. Now the evil hands of Nehelania are about to stretch themselves onto this earth. And we see a vision of what that might look like, with Tokyo in darkness under assault by the Dead Moon. Pegasus says, to seal them away, the power of the golden crystal must be unleashed. And Sailor Moon says, golden crystal? She's probably worried that she's lost track of the colors of the crystals at this point.
I would
She's
be.
like, is that a me thing? Do I have the golden crystal?
Am I responsible for this?
I gotta check my crystal drawer. Chibi, however, eyes the golden horn of Pegasus, and Pegasus lowers his head as the crystal flashes, and he says, this horn of mine is actually the golden crystal, which emits divine energy. It's also good for getting a keg started.
Oh, my God.
It's the only thing that can seal the Dead Moon away. Now, hold on. Is this... Okay, is this the... This is, well, so, these are all the questions that will never be answered in these last 5 episodes. Is this the actual crystal? I thought this was his spirit. This is like his tulpa or his avatar, right?
It is.
Do they need the actual crystal on his body, or will a dream crystal work for a dream seal? Like, what's the cosmology of all this?
This is a fantastic question.
They have his body. If they know that the horn is the crystal, which they must.
Yeah.
I think that Zirconia said that when the last time that they had an expo dump. Why don't they just rip it off that kid's head in the web?
I don't know.
Or has the power of it imbued this spirit form of Pegasus?
Like if you don't have his soul, then you can't use it or
the
something.
soul is the power of the crystal.
Yeah.
You need the form of the crystal and the power of the crystal.
But he says something...
See how I did that?
Yeah.
I explained it.
You did.
Yeah. I don't know if that's right, but that's more explanation than they've ever done.
Yes. And they do explain a little bit more about how all the crystals works and everything. Yeah.
Very little bit more.
Very little bit.
We see the image. Well, here, this is a great example. We see the image of a planet, might be Earth, and it explodes! As Pegasus says, the golden crystal is powerful enough to destroy the stars. And we see that all that is left is an asteroid field in space that Pegasus flies through? Is this a flash? Did this happen?
I don't know.
Oh, whoa. Was I drunk that night?
Oh, my God, no.
Sailor Mercury says, could the reason they're so desperately looking for you be because they're after that power?
Mercury.
Yeah.
You're smarter than this.
Yeah, but she's also trying to get it straight. She's like, where are we now? Sailor Venus says, well then, we just use the golden crystal to defeat the Dead Moon, right? But Chibi says, we can't. Pegasus can't use the golden crystal by himself. He needs to find someone who can unleash its energy.
Right.
That's why he spends so much time playing Roblox.
What? We're Roblox.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Sailor Moon is like, okay, Club Penguin?
I don't know what that is
All
either.
right, anyway. Sailor Moon's like, Chibi, you know a lot about this strange horse.
Oh, boy, howdy.
Chibi says, Pegasus has been looking all this time, but he couldn't find anyone. And Moon says, this is something really important. Why didn't you talk to us about it?
Yeah.
I know, right?
I know.
At least they're acknowledging it.
Yes.
This will be it. They'll never take her to task over this ever again.
Probably not.
But it's almost like they got my letters. Or hopefully some of the letters in real time that were being sent in 1995.
Right.
Well, let's see Pegasus worm his way out of this one. He says, the golden crystal was supposed to be a secret known only by the priests of Elysian and special little girls. But I broke that rule, and I told you, Chibi, about the golden crystal. And Chibi's like, oh, me? Don't get too excited, Chibi.
Yeah.
Pegasus says, I thought that you might be the one to unleash the power of the golden crystal.
Yeah.
Anybody want to see Mamoru punch a horse?
I do.
Yeah.
No wish to fight.
We see once again the first moments of Helios's captivity when he sends his spirit form out, I guess, to the light that he saw in his prison cell. He says, when I was thrown into darkness, you were the one that showed me the light. But I have no time left. And the image of Pegasus starts to shimmer and fade to Chibi's dismay and the FBI's frustration. That's how he keeps eluding us. Across the web-strewn Tokyo, great tendrils begin to break out of the ground, wrapping themselves around the city buildings, while Tuxedo Mask collapses in pain, clutching his chest. The voice of Pegasus says, please, find the person who can unleash the power of the golden crystal. I'm flexible on age.
Oh, my God.
As Pegasus fades completely away. In the Hall of Mirror, the titular mirror begins to glow, as in the Mirror of Hall, the captive form of Helios begins to glow bluely. Mm-hmm. That's a word, right?
It is now.
Say that, Japanese people.
Bluely. Yeah.
Queen Nelania says, Helios's soul is speaking out to someone again. And she, slaps, an ornament that's dangling from... There's a thing dropping down from his cage. I don't know if it's functional, but
Yeah,
she
I
slaps
don't
this
know.
thing,
Yeah.
and it makes, the whole cage kind of sway back and forth.
Yeah.
And she says, even if you're in this pathetic state, you still mock me. And how did you get internet access? The courts were very clear on that. She says, even if you're just an empty shell, you still resist my rule. We cut to Mamoru's web-covered pad, where he tosses fitfully in bed as Usagi watches over him, and the squad and the cats are at his bedside. Artemis says, to defeat the Dead Moon, we need the golden crystal. Thanks, Artie.
He's on top of it.
It's almost like, it's aired right after the last one, but it's almost like the audience took a break in 1995.
Yeah,
and then this
right.
came out in 1996.
Right.
But ironically, this came out near the end of 1995, but then all aired together,
Yeah.
as far as I know. Mamoru, in a moment of lucidity, says, it looks like what Pegasus said was true. I heard his voice as well. What? We see an image of Pegasus soaring over the Earth in space. Did we see this before?
I don't know if we've seen it before.
And he says, Prince Endymion, your body, which is guarded by the Earth, has synchronized itself with this land. Oh, you're out of milk, by the way. In his bed, Mamoru says, each time those spider webs eat away at this land, my body... Chibi says glumly, if only I could unleash the powers of the golden crystal. Yeah, if you only let literally anybody know that something's wrong.
Yeah, right.
For 40 weeks.
Yes.
Diana says, small lady. And Ray says, it's all right, even if we don't have the golden crystal. And Makoto says, if we combine all of our powers, we have nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, you can sailor teleport to another planet when this one blows up.
Great.
Ami says, we won't let him go to Mars. Ami says, we won't let the Dead Moon Circus have their way any longer. And Minako says, let's go defeat Queen Nehelania. And the squad and cats walk out of the room.
Yeah.
Awkwardly.
Yeah.
Like, serious, look at the animation. It's like 2 frames a second. Hopefully they're saving money for the finale of this thing, because they just go like Poochie leaving for his planet.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
And they leave Usagi and Mamoru alone. Rei pops her head back in to see if Usagi is coming, but she realizes this is a them moment.
Yeah.
And she withdraws.
Yeah.
Tearfully, Usagi says, Mamo-chan, as the music box version of Moonlight Densetsu plays. Mamoru reaches up to her and says, I'm sorry, at such an important time, I'm making you face all the dangers. She takes his hand and says, no, your pain is my pain. Don't worry, I'll make sure to cure you. I'll make sure to protect this planet. And they share a kiss. Mm-hmm. Usagi says, I'll be going now, and heads out, as Mamoru says, you've gotten strong, Usako, as has Chibiusa, before clutching his chest in pain again as the cats rush to him, and he collapses into bed. As the girls hit the street, they are confronted by a parade of everyone's favorite Dead Moon Circus performers.
Yes.
Look, there's Insane Teddy Bear, Captain Twink, Goth Showgirl Sandman, Hobot Magician, the Honeycomb Craver, and more. Stopping right in front of the squad is Stony the Clown, handing out flyers for the Dead Moon Circus show.
Yes.
And Usagi's like, what the shit? And we see the Harlequin of Rage say, dreams seen at night are fleeting, but the nightmares here are always open. One of Giannis Udanta's faces says, take one look at its extremes. And the other says, once you look, you won't stop laughing. One man circus juggles while breathing fire and says, you'll laugh so hard. As Obasan Joker says, you might turn into a mule. And Obasan opens a robe to reveal Jambi Brainiac, who says, and we won't care. Usagi is like, I can't. And she just falls down in shock.
I love that you named all of them and like.
Oh, we're still going.
Oh, we're still going.
Oh, there's more.
Okay.
There's so much more.
There's so much
This
more.
is the Dead Moon Circus supporting players episode.
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ray says, what are these things? As Venusian sex worker blows smoke into Ami's face.
Yeah.
Chibi has had enough and she yells, stop it! And without another word, the parade disperses. Mina says, I guess that was worth a try. But Ami says, guys, look! And we pivot to see that the parade has now formed into 2 single file lines, a gauntlet leading directly to the heart of town and the giant big top.
Yep.
Ray says, a straight path to the circus, no need for sly little tricks. Illusions, Ray. Mako says, they want a frontal assault? And we hear 4 voices say, exactly, as the Amazoness quartet spins their way down silken lines to hang over the street giggling.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a magic circus performer, they don't have to be tied to anything. You just come down
Right.
from it's like the trapeze lemur who's just swinging from the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's that technology.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So make it happen.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
This is a magic secret circus.
That's right.
And Chibi says, you're eye catch.
Yeah.
You're what? You're what, Chibi? What was she going to say?
I know.
You're those guys that didn't help us put that show together.
Yeah, there you go.
Where were you at the age 20 thing? We come back and Vesves says, welcome to the Dead Moon Circus. And Paula Paula says, we'll be greeting you, Sailor Senshi. But Ray says, if that's the case, I won't be hesitant about this. And everyone transforms.
Yes.
Sailor Chibi says, villains who tarnish our town of Juban City with a jungle of spider webs. And Sailor Moon says, and on top of that, I can't forgive you for giving my Mamo-chan so much pain. In the name of the moon, we'll punish you. To this, Siri says, we'll save some arena seats for you. And Junjun says, but that's if you can actually arrive at the tent. And the 4 Amazons bawl out as the assembled circus company swarms the Senshi. And it's everyone, including some brand new faces like Funky Elric, the Samizdat Samurai, Marty Jannetty, Ragged Ann, Benny Badman, LL Clown J, and more.
God.
Sailor Mars wastes no time in firing off a Mars flame sniper and creates a wall of fire that drives the insane clown posse back as the Senshi make a break for it. But they're confronted by Lorraine Newman in her underwear with a small ballerina upside down on her head. The Honeycomb Craver, Orcules, the In-Betweener, Spade-Eye Pig-Ears Afro Lady Godiva, and Triplicate Polycule. Followed by Flower Man and Sneezewort, which is the insane teddy bear superhero identity. Navajodin.
What?
Just look at him. I'm pretty pleased by that one.
Okay.
Horse Skull Man, Pikadilly, and Barely Quinn. But they are BTFO'd by a love and beauty shock from Sailor Venus, and Sailor Mercury uses Mercury Aqua Rhapsody to eliminate Dr. Funhattan, the Clown with No Name, and the Crack Rabbit.
Oh my God.
The Senshi have cut a swath through these goofy gorillas, and they reach the gates of the circus. We cut to the Hall of Mirror where the Amazoness Quartet are watching all of this in the big mirror, which I didn't know it had picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
And Paula says, they look kind of tough.
Yeah.
Vess says, it's just that the lemurs are too weak. June says, at this rate, they're going to get all the way backstage. And Vess says, who was the one that suggested that we lure them into the circus? And all four of them point at each other. So we'll never know.
No.
In the mirror, the image of Queen Nehelania appears and says, Amazoness Quartet. And the Amazons seem jazzed to see her. Vess says, are you going to give us something again? What did she give him the first time? Fake IDs? Paula says, Paula wants stronger magic. Paula, you clearly already have the strongest magic here.
Yeah.
You're like 2 steps down from Infinity Gauntlet. So I wouldn't worry about it. Now Helenia says, don't be hasty. Just for you, my dears, I will give you extra special powers today. Teacher's pet. And Siri says, just what we expect from Queen Nehelania. Much better than that old hag Zirconia.
Getting it in good there.
She's in the corner. She's crying.
Yeah, right.
Nehelania says, hand me the Amazon stones that I gave you. See?
Yeah.
They're Infinity Amazon stones.
They are.
They're different colors.
They are.
Come on. The Amazons produce their balls, and they are absorbed into the mirror. Nehelania's eyes flash purple, and the balls begin to glow blackly, and they shoot back into the hands of the girls, whose eyes also begin to glow. Nehelania says, now use these powers to destroy those of the White Moon. Elsewhere, the Sailor Senshi have penetrated into the heart of the big top, and as they reach the center, they are lifted up on a giant pillar coming out of the ground. And Jupiter's like, oh, this is convenient. Mercury asks Chibiusa, can I ask you something? And Sailor Moon says, I don't think this girl knows anything that you don't, Mercury. Eloise says, it's not that. I remembered something watching Chibi and Pegasus. When I was a child, I think I had a dream about a white horse with wings. Pegasus, you bastard!
I know.
How long will this keep happening?
I know.
You can't keep getting away with it!
The rest of the girls seem surprised, and Moon says, come to think of it, I did too. No! We see an image of a young Ray running with Pegasus.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And she says, memories of a past life? And as each Senshi speaks, we see a similar image of them as children playing with Pegasus. Jupiter says, no, it was a dream. Venus says, dream? And Usagi says, dreams we had as children that we've talked to our therapists about.
Oh my God.
Chibi says, but my Pegasus is no dream. He brought me Toll House cookies. I worried with Pegasus and laughed with him. We played a lot of Roblox, like a lot.
Oh my God.
It was fun. I was happy to see that we were friends, and I wanted to be a help to him. Jupiter says, Chibi, you really are in love with him, aren't you?
Whoa. You sell it so well.
And Venus says, sorry, let me tell you. Okay. And Venus says, I'd forgotten what it was like to feel that way. Really? That's like all you think about, Nina.
Yeah.
Being in love.
2 timing guys and
like?
stuff like that. Yeah.
Mercury says, I had told myself that Pegasus was just a fairy tale, and the medication helped.
Oh my God.
Jupiter says, I kept it in the back of my heart in exchange for my dreams. What the... What?
I don't know what she's talking about.
Moon asks Chibi, as long as you cherish your feelings, don't you think he'll always be with you? Watching you sleep? And Chibi says, thanks, guys. I don't know what happened here, and I bet the audience is lost too.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We see a cross-section of the elevator going up, and we get a view from the outside that pans up the long sort of skirt of the tent that the big top sits on. Eventually, the Senshi emerge into the big top itself. So there's a question answered. It's a big elevator.
Yeah.
In the middle, the long part,
Yeah.
that it stands on. But new question, if this is where the circus performs, do all the spectators have to ride this big elevator up to the ring?
That would just be...
What if you want more popcorn?
So much time consuming and yeah.
You can't get a hold of the girl with the strap around her neck.
Yeah, right.
How do you get back down to the ground during the show? What if there's a fire?
I don't know.
Are
like,
there
what
other
do you do?
elevators?
They all seem like there's like different elevators.
Maybe there's a
but
big
in,
it's like a slide on a plane where you pull the thing and it comes out, but it's like striped like a
Like a
circus
big top.
themed escape slide.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That could be fun.
That would, I want to do one of those. I bet Tom Scott got to do one of those.
You think so?
Yeah.
Just
I'm here talking about planes and how they crash. Crashes are very scary, but parts of them are fun. Look at this. Cross your arms. I can see that.
I could see it too.
I'll search it up later.
Okay.
Also, here's another question. Do big elevators seem like a theme in this show when we're getting near the end? Aren't they always going up big elevators?
They're always going up big elevators. They're
Yeah.
big showpieces and stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
it's like the mid series climactic point. Like I'm thinking of
They are often
the
climbing
first
a tower
season one. Yes.
and taking an elevator of some kind.
Yes. Exactly.
Which is why it's such a effective subversion in Ghostbusters when they get to the thing and they're like, oh, this is a crisis, so we shouldn't take the elevator. That's why they have to climb up all the stairs. They're like, Ghostbusters, we can do it. And they're like, come on. What floor are we on? I think it's like 20. Okay. Yeah. The Senshi stand in the middle of the center ring and look around with hesitation as we hear a trumpeting roar and see Ves emerge riding on an elephant.
Yes.
And we see Siri swing by on a trapeze and Palo wheels by on a unicycle. Hey, you're the ball rider. Come on. Lastly, Jun approaches, flipping from column to column over the uneven floor. See? Jun the acrobat.
Yep.
It's her idiom.
Yep.
Ves says, sorry to keep you waiting. The biggest stars of the Dead Moon Circus. Siri says, the Amazoness Quartet on stage. Jun immediately throws a handful of balls into the air and begins hitting them towards the Senshi with a bat. Mm-hmm. Jupiter catches one of the balls, but is pelted by even more. And when they hit the ground, they explode, knocking her out of the fight. Siri swings overhead and releases a cloud of yellow flower petals, but when they fall over Chibi and Sailor Moon, they're like, oh, they stink. This is too much. Guys, Jupiter got her ass blown up. And you're like, these flowers smell bad. Mars comes tearing by as she's pursued by Pala atop a giant ball. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I doubted you. She's a professional. Leave them wanting more.
There you go.
Mercury says, they're faster and more powerful. Ves leaps into the air and calls, sticky ball, and throws a wad of something at Chibi and Sailor Moon. But Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury push them out of the way, only to get slimed by the attack.
Yes.
Ghostbusters.
I feel so funky.
That was last year. Mars is somehow in there as well, and I know that the girls getting covered in a sticky substance is de rigueur for this part of the show. We've seen this before.
Yes, we have.
Elevators and girls getting slimed.
Yeah.
It's like, an evil Nickelodeon show.
Oh, yeah.
As the girls struggle, Ves and Jun stand above them with Ves saying, that was too simple. And Jun saying, should we get rid of him? And Pala and Siri say, do it. But Chibi has had enough. And she goes, it worked before. Stop it. and her crystal carillon appears. In the mirror of Hall, the body of Helios once again begins to glow, and Queen Nehelenia takes notice. She says, Pegasus's hiding place is approaching. Who holds the golden mirror? And she turns to look in her mirror and sees an image of Chibiusa. Chibi looks at the carillon and says, Are you asking me to call for you, Pegasus? Is this that hotline bling? Chibi raises her carillon and with a twinkle yell summons Pegasus. Pegasus says, I say don't confront the dead moon, and you immediately come here and confront the dead moon. Sure, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. This is why I hate teenagers. The sailors' sticky bonds disappear, and the Amazons are taken aback as Sailor Moon gives us the MGM, and it looks like it's curtains for the quartet, until a bolt of dark energy seems to disrupt the attack. Zirconia is here!
Yeah.
The Senshi stand across from the catfish wizard as the Amazonesses crouch behind her, and Mars says, Who the hell is this? Zirconia says, I am Zirconia, ringmaster. Hey.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
Hey, we're getting questions answered all over the place.
Yeah.
Of the dead moon. She looks to the side where Pegasus stands on one of the columns, and she says, I know the Pegasus that stands there is just an illusion. Pegasus can only live inside beautiful dreams in the human world. All I have to do to capture him is capture the owner of the dream. And Zircon flaps off of her staff to the ground, where Zirconia addresses the flaming ball, lines up a shot with her staff, and whack! Bounces Zircon all over the big top until he bounces back and knocks out Chibi's mirror. And Charlie! It's a golden mirror! The image of Pegasus's wings take dream, and he flies directly into the golden mirror, while Zirconia exclaims, I found it! I finally found it! Chibi stands blank-eyed, and the Senshi all gape in astonishment. Chibi robotically reaches out and grasps her mirror, saying, You can't! And she pulls the mirror to her chest, and it disappears once again. Zirconia says, Take this! And taps her staff on the ground, causing a giant mirror to emerge behind Chibi. The mirror spins around once with Chibi in front of it, and as it comes back around, Chibi's inside of it!
Yeah.
Gasping silently in horror. In his bed in the condo, Mamoru clutches at his sheets in a paroxysm of agony, calling out, Chibiusa! In the big top, Usagi claws uselessly at the surface of the mirror as Zirconia says, Rejoice, Lady Nehelenia! At your command, I have found the golden mirror! Now Pegasus and the golden crystal are ours! Zirconia was an Amazoness in her time. It all makes sense. I should have pushed the performer thing all the way. These girls are the new blood, right? They're like, whatever,
sure.
Old lady. And Zirconia is like the hardened, leathery lady who's still in, a leotard,
togs. Yeah.
And she's like, you'll understand later, kids, take your union break, She is the old news, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
a good point.
Right. And so, okay, I don't know, maybe she can't do flips and she can't go out and make commercial real estate, but you get him it's like a spider. You get him in the trap, you get him in the web.
Yeah.
And boom, she's got it.
Yeah.
And her stick.
Her staff.
It's a
golf.
It's like a croquet stick.
Or croquet, yeah. Yeah, it's
all
actually more
makes sense
croquet.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, not why she's like a catfish wizard, but still. I love that so much.
I love that too.
And I've talked about this very, very few times that there has been a sort of a performer aspect to them. I think we got this more with the Amazon trio than the Amazoness trio, although they do their little tricks, their little flips. But the idea of they're professionals.
Yes.
And they're performers, their personalities. And that makes so much sense. She's the old hand that aged out of performing and now she's management,
That does make sense. I love that. I've never heard that theory before.
Well,
It fits.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to go through 30 plus episodes of like, get out there.
Yeah.
Blah.
I know.
And now it's like, oh, retroactively, that almost makes it better.
It does.
A little bit.
A little bit. Can we talk about everybody having a dream with a winged horse when they're little?
Yeah. So
I just lost my damn mind.
yeah. Well, again, well, it's like I tried to get us ready for this at the beginning of the show. You're not going to like some of the answers that you get.
Yeah.
And they're going to spend the rest of these episodes trying, like the fact that we only know, and I guess I'm kind of meeting them more than halfway. Like I'm kind of assuming that, but the fact that she has ball, shaped powers, ball related powers, that Zircon is himself a ball.
He is.
It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the write up on the side of her like character sheet is, for the creators of the show, but that you get that.
Yeah.
But the fact that they would wait till now to reveal that to us,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good reveal for like her being the one to, bullseye Chibi,
Yeah.
but that's just too long.
Yeah.
Stop with the sandbagging. Stop with the late time reveals. Just give us stuff and then build on it as you go.
There have been a lot of late time
doing that a
reveals
lot
in this
year.
A
Yeah.
lot of sandbagging.
But as far as the whole thing with the little kids playing with Pegasus goes, we've questioned for 40 episodes now what the connection is with Pegasus and the kids. Like what is this? Like is he part of the Silver Millennium Kingdom, or is he some greater power? Is he connected to them somehow? Why do his powers, is it all standardized parts? Like why does his juice combine with sailor juice to, let them do, moon gorgeous meditations and sailorish powers?
Right.
And I don't think there's anything necessarily explicit, but they are trying to backfill an explanation saying, and maybe every girl on Earth, has this connection as well.
Yeah.
That wasn't a horse neighing. But specifically with these ones. So it's like, oh, we've all sort of, this is the
Passing
innocence
the
of
torch.
youth, and the beauty of play. And he is there, he is that figure for all of us. But that figure wouldn't like hide in my room and tell me not to tell anybody that I know him, would he?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
is this the Sandman or is this Drop Dead Fred? Like, what's happening
which is
here?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, like, is it for sure our Pegasus, or did they all separately have a dream with a white horse? It makes more sense that it's all Pegasus.
Megasus, Legasus. It's all my
Legasus.
brothers.
Yeah.
I come from a big family.
Oh my God, no. Doesn't make it better.
So I get why they're doing it. I'm going to hit the gong of why not tell us before or intimate it before? They did that so well in S, where the first thing that we see is, Juban exploding and then Ray being troubled by this and how's that going to affect us as we go forward. But instead, they basically just pull this BS retcon where it's like, oh no, we all have a connection. No, I understand. Yeah, we're all kind of connected to this in a way.
Yeah, right.
He hid in all of our rooms for a time.
And
that makes it okay.
Shared all of our dreams. That's totally fine.
We all played Roblox on the same server with him.
Oh my God.
So anyway, don't love that.
No, I don't love it either.
But I know why they did it. The Dead Moon, or at least its minions, are created from discarded dreams.
Okay.
So, and we've, some of the listeners have, I think, brought this up, but like, why isn't the action of the Amazons then to get their victims to throw away their dreams? If they discard their dreams.
Yeah.
Unless that is implied in, no, because we've seen lemur storage. We know that these are pre-extant people.
Yes.
But if like them crushing their dream and then taking the mirror, which is the representation of like the power of their dream, whether used for good or bad.
Yeah.
Or the artist who had a dirty dream or whatever.
Oh, God.
It happens to all boys. Probably some girls too. And then like the discarding was them going, I give up on the dream. I'll never get over the hobby horse or whatever. And then that power then allows them to birth and engender the Lemur.
Yeah.
But that's not really what happens. You could sort of headcanon that that's what's happening.
Well, I would
but
say
it's not explicit at all.
in the manga, it is more like that.
Okay. Why did they leave that
I don't
connective
know.
tissue out for?
It's like the bad guys kind of like try to trick them out of their dreams and like say, you have them say like these things that they would, or like complete opposite of what they actually feel, or like, you know, like, I don't want to be a Sailor Scout anymore. It's boring, or, you know, something like that. Like, I don't want to fight with my friends anymore.
Like makeup.
Yeah, right. Not exactly like that, but you know, you get the idea.
So like C.S. Lewis, where that was who were the original 4 kids that go through the wardrobe?
I can't remember.
But like one of them she doesn't go to Narnia anymore because she likes boys in makeup more. Like, all right,
Yeah,
C.S.
that's
Lewis, leave the
stupid.
house. Or like literally, like what if the damned souls of the Dead Moon Circus are people who lost their dreams and then were, you know, transformed into garish circus monsters.
Right.
You know, every one of we've had this before with the immortal Yoma or whatever, who were reincarnated as humans or whatever, and so then they turned into the monsters.
Yeah.
Like Red Butler.
Yes.
You can do that with this. Like instead
could.
of just summoning something out of your shadow, the person's like, and then they become like a lady that shoots herself out of a cannon. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, that
It's
can
magic.
happen.
It's all magic anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know about Sandman?
The Sandman can give you a dream.
Yeah. Do you know about the Vertigo comic Sandman?
Oh, yeah.
The
Yes.
reason that you know the name Neil Gaiman?
Yes, I know about Sandman.
There, no spoilers for
Sandman?
Sandman. Let's just say near the end of Sandman,
Okay.
there is a character who becomes like, you know, a lord of the dreaming. And the dreaming is a place like Elysian. The idea of like an actual place where human dreams happen. And this character becomes like a lord of the dreaming, and they have white hair. They're sort of a young man, probably a teenager. They wear a white robe.
Uh-huh.
That's got big shoulder pads.
Okay.
And kind of like a V-shape type thing.
Uh-huh.
And it's belted, you know.
Okay.
Like Mr. Spock in Star Trek 4.
Yeah.
The
robe.
Home. What's up? What's up?
When did Sandman come out?
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
Sandman came out. So here's what happened. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So that character basically appeared in that form at basically the end of Sandman.
Okay.
Which would have been late 1995.
Okay.
I think. And these episodes came out late 1995.
Well, then that's just a case of similar thought process, right?
Come on.
Who are you saying is copying who?
A young man with white hair.
I know.
What I've done is created a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
But I want to know who
You don't get it.
I get it.
Is a young man who protects dreams with the power of a crystal
Uh-huh.
and wears a white robe. Who am I
Yeah.
describing?
Yeah, Helios.
No. Daniel, this character in Sandman, has a white robe. He's got a crystal that helps him protect dreams.
So
What are we talking about
So
here?
you're saying that Nakutaku-uchi stole that from Neil Gaiman? Is that what you're saying?
No, because Nakutaku-uchi would have made this before. Now, don't say a word and don't even look in my eyes when I say this, but I don't know if Helios is in the comic or not. The manga. Obviously, there's lag in translation, literally, it going overseas, blah, blah, whatever. But Neil Gaiman was a comics journalist long before he was writing Sandman, so he would have had access to various things. What I'm proposing is that maybe Neil Gaiman stole the idea for this character from Sailor Moon.
Okay.
Because it definitely would have been written down in a contact sheet.
Yes.
Would have been put together for this character long before that DC comic ever hit the press.
Well, and
that being said,
yes.
And this is my last thought on this.
Okay.
This whole idea of characters that come from dreams and stuff is very Sandman-y.
It's very Sandman.
And Sandman started in like 1989.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Chicken and Egg.
Yojimbo inspires The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, but then that Fistful of Dollars, right?
Yeah.
And then Fistful of Dollars inspires something else, like this cross-pollination.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Well, they're both alive still.
They are.
We get them in a room.
We could have
strip
some sort
them
of
down,
collaboration.
see what happens.
Come on now. Some sort of collaboration on that would be cool, though. They do. Nako did have drawings of all the characters for each season that she would send to the animation studios, like before they started animating stuff. So, Helios is documented in that as well.
All right. Well, I hope she mailed it to herself. It's gonna be in trouble otherwise.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno has returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning alcopop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kuro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to talk about Kinkaku-ji and Ginkaku-ji. Kinkaku-ji literally means Temple of the Golden Pavilion, officially named Rokonji, literally Deer to Garden Temple.
Deer Tick Garden Temple?
Deer Garden Temple.
Oh, Deer Garden Temple.
Yeah.
Deer Garden Temple. The other day I was, okay.
It's a Zen Buddhist temple in Kyoto. It is one of the most popular sites in Kyoto, which many people visit every year. It is typically listed on the best sites to see in Kyoto list. The name Rokonji was taken from the first two kanji of Ashikaga Yoshimitsu's posthumous name. He was a shogun, and so all shogun and prime ministers got posthumous names because they're special.
What if they don't like their names?
Well, I guess they can come back and haunt you then.
Yeah, I guess so. Wait a minute. Sorry. Totally different culture. So, yeah.
From Wikipedia, quote, it is designated a National Special Historic Site, a National Special Landscape, and is one of 17 locations making up the historic monuments of ancient Kyoto, which are World Heritage Sites. So it's one of those places that is high on the list for people who want to go in Kyoto.
Deer, you're all right. Those are some happy deer.
There's no deer there.
Wait, what's the temple with the deer?
Todaiji. That's in Nara.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was the deer temple. Do you think they're like, yeah, they're the deer temple. Sure. Not right now. I don't have any. Deer's like going through his pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know why it's called the deer temple when there's no deer there. So I think that maybe that's just one way of interpreting the name. I'm not 100% sure.
There was a deer there once.
Probably.
Is this this is Kyoto?
Yes.
Maybe it was like a place where the emperor's deer were,
that's entirely possible.
Kept.
Yeah.
Because, usually the ruler has like some deer and then Robin Hood's going to kill one of them.
Right.
You killed the king's deer.
Right. You can't kill the king's deer.
You
What's
outlaw.
Yes.
Ah, you're so rakish. Get out of here.
You scamp.
Did the Japanese have Robin Hood?
That's a good question. I don't know. I can imagine some Ronin just doing stuff.
No, that's it. Like a million Robin Hoods. Never mind.
From Wikipedia, quote, Kinkaku-ji was ranked the number 85th most holy place on earth by religious leaders, writers, and scholars in the Pathos Multi-Faith Religion Project, Sacred Spaces, the 100 most holy places on earth.
I am not a religious leader, a scholar, or a scientist or whatever, but maybe we shouldn't rank holy places.
I think that's a good idea.
Not only is it disrespectful, but it also just seems like, I feel like wars have started like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They
You know?
have. Yes.
You're like, oh boy, this manger in Bethlehem, number 2, but then number 1, the Kaaba. And it's like, wow. People freaking out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway,
It's not a good idea.
what about a list of the 100 awesome holy sites?
There you go. See, that
for
sounds better.
Awesome times.
Yeah.
The
For
Blarney,
awesome times.
The Blarney Stone. Is that holy? That's not holy.
I don't know. Is it Stonehenge?
It's special. Yes, but Stonehenge wasn't. It was like a ritual site, and then also
Yeah.
they think it was maybe for like telling time.
Really?
Not telling time, but it was like sort of like the calendar. You're at Stonehenge. You're a druid. You're like, oh, so I'm gonna be late. Just looking at the rocks. Yeah, it was like had to do with like the stars and stuff like that.
Okay. That makes sense.
Back to Japan.
The area of Kinkaku-ji was initially a villa called Kitayama-dai and was owned by an influential statesman, Saionji Kitsune.
Oh.
Kinkaku-ji's history goes back to 1397 when Kitayama-dai was bought from the Saionji family by Shogun Ashikaga Yoshimitsu and transformed into Kinkaku-ji compound. Mm-hmm. When Yoshimitsu died, Kinkaku-ji was changed into a Zen temple by his son according to Yoshimitsu's wishes. So it was his villa where he just like hung out and had
Probably hunted deer.
Yeah. And then he's like, but when I go, I want it to be a temple. So.
And give me a cool name.
Yes. Yes, of course. During the Onin War, which was 1467 to 1477, all of the buildings in the compound, besides the pavilion, were burned down. More on the Onin War later.
Okay.
So just put a pin in that.
Okay.
Having survived the war, it accidentally burned down in 1950 by Hayashi Yoken, a 22-year-old novice monk who attempted suicide on the Dimonji Hill behind Kinkaku-ji. He survived the fire and was sentenced to 7 years in prison, but he was released in 1955 due to mental illness.
Like suicide by fire?
Yeah.
It was just gonna like lay down in a fire?
I think so.
Okay. But then, nobody's around to put the fire out.
Yeah.
Idiot.
I know. Didn't really think about it, I don't think.
Okay. Well, it seems like he, was having problems. So.
Yeah, exactly. From Wikipedia, quote, during the fire, the original statue of Ashikage Yoshimitsu was lost to the flames, but it hence has been restored. A fictitious fictionalized version of these events is at the center of Yukio Mishima's 1956 book, The Temple of the Golden Pavilion, and another in the ballet Raku. So
We will Raku.
Raku. Yeah, so this story is well known and it's retold through these stories.
Okay, guy lays down. So he smokes a cigarette.
Yeah.
And just flicks the butt.
Well, apparently Mishima is because
Oh
he's
my
always
God, every day we gotta hear about Mishima.
he's always about like things are so beautiful, like when they're at the height of their beauty, you must destroy them because they won't be any more beautiful than that. And so it's like in his version of events, like it's like the monk had to destroy Kinkaku-ji because it was too beautiful to survive.
Okay, I thought the monk had a really good haircut. He's like, this. Well, I gotta say goodbye to everybody. I understand.
Yeah, great. The pavilion was rebuilt in 1955, and it's 3 stories high and 40 feet tall. The restoration is said to be close to the original, although some have questioned whether so much gold leaf was used on the original structure.
That's what architectural review.
Yeah.
Is this it? Like that's like the most catty like an architectural reviewer could be. Like one wonders if there was this much gold leaf on the original structure. It looks like Trump's bathroom or something like that.
There's a lot of gold leaf. The top 2 floors it's gold leaf.
What
all
if when
gold
they?
leaf.
I know they're putting Notre Dame back together, but what if like it's just like solid gold on the way up? People are like, it looks different.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's not quite the same.
Did Quasimodo win the lottery?
Gold was an important addition to the pavilion because of its underlying meaning in Pure Land Buddhism. The gold was intended to reduce and purify any contamination or negative feelings and thoughts regarding death. Didn't really help out that one guy though. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Other than the symbolic meaning behind the gold leaf, the Muromachi period heavily relied on visual excesses. So it's a time of excess.
All right. Gold leaf.
The top 2 stories of the pavilion are covered in gold leaf, making the Golden Pavilion quite the sight to see. The shimmering exterior reflects in the pond that surrounds it beautifully. There are 10 other islands in the pond, and the largest group represents Japan. So there's like these little land formations that are like islands, and like the 4 largest ones represent Japan.
Okay.
The pavilion houses relics of the Buddha's ashes. The building was an important model for Ginkaku-ji, or a silver pavilion, and Shokoku-ji, which are also located in Kyoto. When these buildings were constructed, Ashikaga Yoshimasa, Yoshimitsu's grandson, employed the styles used at Kinkaku-ji and even borrowed the names of its 2nd and 3rd floors. So the grandson, Yoshimasa, who was also shogun later, he built Ginkaku-ji and Shokoku-ji.
Yeah.
So it's staying in the family. Each floor of Kinkaku-ji utilizes a distinct architectural style. The first floor, called the Chamber of Dharma Waters, or Hoi Sui-in, is done in Shinden Zukuri fashion, reminiscent of the residential style of the 11th century Heian imperial aristocracy. It is designed as an open area with adjacent verandas and utilizes natural unpainted wood and white plaster. So this is like, this is plain compared to like the rest of the 2 top floors.
Yeah.
So it really kind of gets that contrast in there. The 2nd floor, called the Tower of Sound Waves, or Cho-on-do, is built in the style of warrior aristocrats, or Buke-zukuri. This floor has sliding wood doors and lattice windows. The 2nd floor houses a Buddha hall and a shrine devoted to the goddess of mercy, Kannon.
This is a high concept.
Yeah,
temple.
It is. It is. The 3rd floor is built in traditional Chinese Chan or Japanese Zen fashion, also known as Zenshu Butsuden Zukuri. It is called the Cupola of the Ultimate, or Kukyo Cho. The Zen classification portrays a more religious atmosphere in the pavilion, as was favorable during the Muromachi period. There is a thatched pyramid roof with shingles, and it is topped with a bronze hu or phoenix adornment. So it's a phoenix bird on top that's bronze.
We talk about Phoenix in Japan?
I don't know that we've actually talked about Phoenix in
I feel
Japan,
like a long
but
time
it's
ago, maybe we
yeah,
said something about it.
but it's
You know, the bad guy
important.
has a Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's important. Like, just like as in China, you know, if you're destroyed, you come back even stronger. That sort of thing.
Okay, it's not a Kelly Clarkson song. But,
Yeah, I know.
it's an Indian in origin, isn't it?
Probably. I don't actually know.
I think it was originally an Indian idea.
Okay.
And, but made its way all around.
Well, I
Because
mean,
the Greeks had an idea of a phoenix, and apparently the Japanese did, and Chinese did. So,
well, it's interesting too because this particular phoenix, when the pavilion went up in flames, it was spared because they were repairing it. So that is actually still, I think, original,
okay.
which is kind of interesting.
It's ironic too, wouldn't you? Just
Right, it is ironic.
make a new one and then go, see, it's
this
even
is
better.
Phoenix, it's better.
It's even better than the first one. No,
It was destroyed by flames, and now
the
it's come
Phoenix
back.
chickened out.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to. Oh, there you go. Oh, finally it's back. Woody Allen as the Phoenix. You know. It's
No.
the fire can't be on my body.
No.
I'm gonna. Right. This is your entire thing. You are meant to die and then be reborn. Well, what if I'm defective? You know. All right, never mind.
What? It's funny.
No, it's uncomfortable.
Oh,
I haven't thought about him in a while.
yeah.
I used to think about him all the time. And I was watching a YouTube video, first mistake, about, I don't know, an important filmmaker. So the fact that I don't remember isn't good.
No.
And they were interviewing people, and I heard this voice, and I was like, somebody from New York. Who's that? Who is that? And then it came up, and it was Woody Allen.
Okay.
And, you know, presented with that comment, he was just talking about this other filmmaker.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I haven't thought about this asshole in a long time.
It's just
Hey!
disappointing.
I'm not telling everybody to be perfect.
Yeah.
But if you're planning on becoming very famous and influencing a lot of people and creating a lot of things, don't be an asshole
Yeah.
at the first part of that. So all of your work isn't tainted and destroyed when we find out what an asshole you were.
Yeah.
That's
And
just some
also-
practical advice. I'm not even saying that's not even like ethical advice. That's just practical.
It
Want to
is.
have your reputation not destroyed retroactively?
Yeah.
Don't do anything bad.
Ashikaga Yoshimitsu became a great patron of the arts, and Kinkaku-ji saw a growth of such crafts as ceramics and sword making. The site also saw the birth of No theater. All of the artistic endeavors became known as Kitayama culture. Kinkaku-ji is in the west of Kyoto, and Ginkaku-ji is in the east of Kyoto. So it's kind of interesting. They're opposites. One is the golden pavilion, one's the silver pavilion, one's in the east, one's in the west. Ginkaku-ji, literally Temple of the Silver Pavilion, officially named Jishoji, literally Temple of the Shining Mercy, is a Zen temple in Kyoto. It is one of the constructions that represents the Higashiyama culture or of the Muromachi period. Ashikaga Yoshimasa, the 8th shogun of the Ashikaga shogunate, was reigned from 1449 to 1473 during the Muromachi period, started plans for building a retirement villa and gardens as early as 1460, and it operated as a pleasure villa for shoguns to rest from the governmental duties. After his death, Yoshimasa arranged for the property to become a Zen temple under the name Jishoji. The temple is today associated with the Shokoji branch of Rinzai Zen, just like Kinkaku-ji.
Okay.
So it's the same sect of Zen Buddhism. The two-storied Kannon Den, or Kannon Hall, is the main temple structure. Its construction began on February 21st, 1482. For the structure's design, Yoshimasa sought to mirror the golden Kinkaku-ji, which had been commissioned by his grandfather, Yoshimitsu. It is popularly known as Ginkaku-ji, the Silver Pavilion, because of the original plans to cover its exterior in silver foil, but this familiar nickname dates back only as far as the Edo period.
One wonders if it had this much silver foil
Exactly.
in its original construction.
Exactly. Construction halted on Ginkaku-ji due to the Onin War, which actually was started inadvertently by Ashikaga Yoshimasa. From Wikipedia, quote, "The Onin conflict began as a controversy over who should succeed Shogun Ashikaga Yoshimasa. In 1464, Yoshimasa had no heir. He persuaded his younger brother, Ashikaga Yoshimi, to abandon his life as a monk and named him heir. In 1465, exactly 1 year later, the unanticipated birth of a son to Yoshimasa put these plans into question. The infant Yoshihisa led to a succession crisis with two competing factions. On one side was the shogun and his brother, together with the shogun's deputy, Hosokawa. On the other side was Yoshihisa's mother, Hino Tomiko, and her ally, Yamana, who was the governor of several provinces."
Yeah, and the uncle's like, "Are you kidding? I already threw away all my monk stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the shogun's like, well, I told my
now
brother.
I gotta find enlightenment all over again. No, screw this. I'm gonna rule."
Yeah.
One wonders, I remember this story, like one wonders about, asking, first of all, there's no separation between religion and, politics. We're not talking about that.
Yeah.
And also their religion is like, be nice to everybody and don't want for anything. So
right.
I'm kind of okay with that. But one wonders about like asking this accomplished monk to then be the ruler of this thing. If he was a good monk, he would have said no.
You're right.
Because he's not concerned with the physical world.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, what now? How much? There's gold leaf? Oh, all right.
You're thinking about some silver leaf?
And that's the original
foil?
Phoenix? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well, get that guy in there. And then immediately, wah.
Yeah.
The spoiler baby.
Yeah, the spoiler baby.
Well, nothing bad is going to come out of this.
I just think it's interesting that it was like it pitted him and his wife against each other.
Well, apparently she had some authority and some say in it.
Yeah. She wanted her son to be a shogun, and
you go, girl. Start that Onin War.
Yeah, right. So the war lasted for 10 years. And
men will literally have an Onin War rather than just let their actual son succeed them.
Yeah, exactly. It lasted for 10 years, and Yoshimasa's son, Yoshihisa, ended up ruling after him anyways. So,
nice.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
It all worked out. So glad we went through all this. Ginkaku-ji is also famous for its rock garden called Sea of the Silver Sand. Next to the rock garden is a sand garden and the large, carefully formed pile of sand called Kogetsudai, which is said to symbolize Mount Fuji, is an important component of the garden. It is small, but it is sand. You cannot call it rocks. And it's like this huge mound that's like probably 2-3 feet tall. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they do it, how they continue to do it with weather and everything, but somehow through magic, they're able to create this mound that looks like Mount Fuji.
I don't want to be a jerk, but what's a sand garden? How do you garden sand?
It's like a rock garden, except it's sand.
Yeah. That's kind of what I saw in my head.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about the desirability of something like that.
I don't know. I think supposedly it's good for moon viewing. Like you're looking up at the moon and the moonlight, and then you see the reflection on the rock garden, the sand garden.
Man, the moon looks so good on the sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Ginkaku-ji has worn wood that isn't lacquered. It is underplayed. In its underplayed style, Ginkaku-ji embodies wabi-sabi, the art of finding beauty in imperfection. Its only adornment is a phoenix ornament at the top of the roof like Kinkaku-ji, but it isn't shiny. It's like worn.
Right.
So
it's a wabi-sabi phoenix.
It's a wabi-sabi phoenix. Exactly. The shogunate imported the latest cultural trends through the shogun Yoshimasa, but with the precisely Japanese flair. This is what became recognized as Higashiyama culture, due to the heart of Yoshimasa's influence, and named after the district in Kyoto where he built Ginkaku-ji.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of goods and cultural things came in through from China to where he was in Ginkaku-ji, and like he kind of helped make them part of Japanese culture, if that makes sense.
Yeah. He's getting the PlayStation 5 first.
Yes.
But then people are like, oh, she's got a PlayStation 5. The Emperor.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get that.
Exactly.
Get that PlayStation 5. Okay, there's a production delay. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We're going to wait a while for our PlayStation 5s.
Yeah.
Ironically, probably made in China.
Probably made in China. You're right.
Yeah.
A lot of things are made in China these days.
Yeah. The new VR rig that I got for Christmas is made in China.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, it took pains to say that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, except for all the things that we know are wrong with that. But
yeah,
it's not like American factories are that great.
No.
But I was just like, oh, yeah, of course. I just, like the Woody Allen thing. I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that in a while.
the made in China thing.
And then you want to combine them, Woody Allen and China. You got What's Up, Tiger Lily? We don't want to do that.
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
That's a deep cut Woody Allen.
I know it's a Woody Allen movie. I've seen it before.
What? Okay.
I used to like Woody Allen.
If the doctor...
When I was growing up, my
that is
parents and I watched Woody Allen movies.
All right. Calm down.
I know.
If Doctor Who, I know it's not his name, showed up and he's like, what do you want to do? Don't say kill Hitler. We've had a problem with that in the past. But you can see anything. I'd be like, I want to go back to the early 2000s and hang out in my girlfriend's dorm room when she's watching movies with her friends and try to figure out why they picked the movies that they picked.
Oh, no.
Why are they like, guys, let's watch What's Up, Tiger Lily? Why? Or when I find out that, hey, everybody, let's see A Boy and His Dog. It's got a dog in it.
Well, that was like I was in junior high and I was scarred for life.
Forget it. Sorry, doctor, we have to roll it back. We have to cross our own time streams. I have to know why she wanted to watch Come and See, when she was in 6th grade.
Oh my God, I don't even know what that is.
Okay, good.
Do I pass now?
Ask Woody Allen.
Oh God, no, I don't want to ask Woody Allen.
I guess that would be the sorrow and the pity, but same difference.
Ichidakimasu Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? There's no food in this episode.
No, there's no. No, there's no food in the episode.
Unless you want to count cigarette smoke, and I don't.
I'd like to think that she was vaping.
Okay, all right.
Some kind of Venusian, vape technology that we don't have yet.
No,
but a
we
Venusian
don't.
sex worker.
We're not cool enough.
Would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melinda is her name. We shouldn't define her by her job. I apologize for that.
Speaking of, villain gauge, rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. Should we rate the parade of lemurs?
Yes. Oh, so these are lemurs.
Yes, these are lemurs.
So they're all just lemurs they're like second stringers, or they're you know what? They're not starring. They're company.
They're company. Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I guess we're kind of doing it as a group, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think they're all very unique. But there's the parade, and they say "Welcome to the Dead Moon Circus," and they taunt the girls, and they leave as they leave Mamoru's apartment, and just like blowing smoke in Ami's face. Like if you had to pick somebody, you're gonna blow smoke into somebody's face. You had to be Ami. I mean, really, one who wants to be a doctor.
Yeah. Well, I think it was right. Yeah. I think it was to just shut her up.
Probably.
She's the only person that doesn't get to say something. And I think, the writers were like, what's she going to say? She's going to, it's not, you don't have the proper permits to have a parade on this street at this time.
Yeah.
We don't need any of that. So
No.
just shut up and smoke in your face.
But I think they're all very uniquely designed. And I think that they're scary and they're weird. So I'm going to give this group of lemurs 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Interesting. 4 out of 5.
Yes.
Wood clown again.
Yes, wood clown again.
I am 100% down to clown. They get a 5 out of 5.
Okay.
Out of, this is the cocktail party that we get to attend.
Yes.
Out of all the, I guess there haven't been a lot of spare villains.
No.
The cocktail party.
Yeah.
And this, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But since we never rated the cocktail party, yeah, I mean, there's just so much creativity, and it doesn't cleave to specific anime things. Oh, there's a guy that, I don't know, a big sword or spiky hair or something like that. There's not.
Right.
I pointed this out when we first talked about them. Like, they just seem to come from somewhere else, and I don't know if it was like a couple. There's probably a character designer on the series, but I don't know if it was like one person or a collaborative effort. But somebody was working something out.
Yeah,
Somebody
right.
was doing something.
Yeah.
And it could have just been a bunch of like, oh, there's a red guy and a green guy. Oh, they're all clowns. But there's not. There's a couple that are like, could be clipped out and put into a show about clowns and you wouldn't
Sure.
notice anything. But the creativity's off the charts. They're all goofy. They're all, the facade never cracks. They're all having a great time. And I mean, I wish that we'd get to have seen them more, but we've got 7, sub bosses as it is.
Right.
So that was not realistic to want that. But yeah, it's the high spot in this low spot of a season, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're one of my favorite parts of what we've seen so far.
Well, I think
love them.
I think what you said too, like it's so creative and they're all so different, and like you said, they could have just made them all similar. Like remember the goo ladies at the end of last season, like the very end of last season, that they were just like all goo and stuff like that.
Yes.
They could have just done something like that, like done one design and had it like repeated multiple times, but they just decided, no, we're going to be creative.
No goo ladies.
No goo ladies. And we're going to make sure they're varied and they're unique. And every time they show up, you're going to be, oh, it's that guy.
And there's going to be a couple different hero ones that'll show up over and over again, and they'll have like a bit or a thing that they do.
Yeah.
And that's not, like you said, it could have been goo ladies. You pick your bad guys you've got Mehmet, you've got Udial, you've got whoever
Yes.
it's going to be, and they're going to have things, and they're going to have lines and personality, and anybody in the background to worry about it, right?
Right.
There's a million eggs, but only a couple of them are going to hatch.
Right.
But instead, they're like, no, what if there is a sort of background here that is still alive and is doing things
Yeah.
and doesn't show up nearly enough? But that's not their fault. They use the time that they
That's right.
had well, and every time they show up, you're like, what's going to happen next? I love them. It's 5 out of 5.
All right. Sounds good. And then I have some trivia for this episode as well. This was the last episode to feature lemurs.
Okay.
Yep. I know.
Well, then I guess we kind of rated the lemurs
Yeah.
as well. I mean, we rated them individually, but
Yeah.
the concept of the lemur,
Yes.
we seem to be bullish on.
Yes. Exactly.
And I think I would agree with that.
Yeah. This episode was the last time Moon Gorgeous Meditation appeared in the TV series, but it was utilized again in the Sailor Moon Supers movie. So,
Spoilers?
on
What about spoilers?
okay, all right, sorry. On Toonami's website, the Cloverway episode title was incorrectly listed as Showtime Slowdown.
Showtime slow down.
Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah. It'd be like if you were on The Price is Right and you're ready for the showdown showcase. You're like, whoa, let's have the showdown slow down here while I try to get the prices right of these things in my head. Is that an electric oven or is it,
right?
3 kinds of heat.
Easy bake oven? No.
That's like that. Let's make a deal.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, a new oven's behind this door, and then it's like, oh, it's an easy bake oven.
I'd be so mad.
Screw you, go home.
Yeah, right. Now we're up to our rating. I don't like that the golden crystal is Pegasus's unicorn horn. It was different and better in the manga. That's all I'll say. I love how the Senshi are surprised how much Chibiusa knows. Like, have you been sandbagging us the entire time? I mean, it certainly feels like it. I like how Usagi tells Mamo that she will protect Earth no matter what. I got weirded out when the Senshi talked about how they had dreams of a white winged horse when they were young girls. Gross. But then Chibi says that it's now her Pegasus, and I don't know what to believe. Like, it's like she's saying that Pegasus is hers, and
yeah, and he'll never go away if she, does this one simple trick.
Yeah,
which
right.
is like, well, it's good. What you're setting up here is that Pegasus is an imaginary friend.
Yes.
Now, up to this point, he's kind of been an imaginary friend like Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Right.
Where I think I wasn't on drugs when I was watching Sesame Street as a kid.
Right.
Snuffleupagus is real. It's just part of the joke that he's just never around when, Gordon or Olivia is like, who are you talking to?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He always just takes off at the right time.
Right.
But he's real.
I'm pretty sure he was real.
Because Big Bird can see him, right?
Yeah, Big Bird can see him.
So it's like, oh, okay. So Pegasus is an imaginary friend. That, once again, is something that maybe you could have established a little more concretely, and I wouldn't feel so weirded out. It's not going to get rid of the fact that you have completely set this up as a romance between these two characters.
Yes.
And it also doesn't help that I voice this character as a 55-year-old man who's a heavy smoker. But still, like, all this mitigating stuff is happening now at the trial, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
It looks really bad.
It's not great.
Yeah, for this Jonathan Majors guy. But now here's all the evidence.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like too late.
Yeah.
But if he is the imaginary friend that they're setting up for us, then it's like, okay, so he's like a magical candy-colored Sandman that lives in your dreams, and he, has fun with you when you're dreaming at night. But
And
as you grow up, you
innocent.
forget about that.
Yeah, right.
Like you would.
Right.
This all tracks. It's really nothing unique. I mean, this is in other stories and other media.
Oh, for sure.
But it hasn't really been like that this whole time because you've had this weird obsession show with the mystery and the reveals.
Yes.
Which is a very common thing now, but you guys are ahead of your time.
Yeah.
You're like, hey guys, it's the mid-90s, but let's have a totally obtuse story that we try to explain in the last couple episodes and make everything okay. So yeah, I know I'm with you on that. It's just not.
I know.
Yeah, it's a little too little, way too late.
I agree. I like how it ends suspensefully with the Dead Moon having captured Chibiusa and her golden mirror, and essentially not knowing how to release her. That much I liked. I'm gonna give this episode 3 out of 5 roses. We get information, we get Chibiusa's mirror and everything. We get a cool moment for Zirconia. But it's just okay to me. It's not stellar.
So I agree with those sentiments, but I would still give this a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It did get me back at the end because, and even though I don't like the reveals or some of the stuff that they've revealed, I think the reveals are in a good place. I see what they think they're doing. So it's taken a long ass time, but they had a plan.
Right.
The plan involved them waiting for 30 weeks to finally drop some information on us.
Yeah.
Normally you would do that earlier and then have some more information that's hidden from us that you can reveal later.
Right.
So
exactly.
they held on to it way too long.
Yes.
But I think that all works in the context of where it is now that, you know, we're making it work. But yeah, I mean, it's a great showing for Zirconia. I love the fact that like, she's like, all right, after all this time, you know, sit down, bitches, let me do this. And she does it.
I know.
And Chibi had the golden mirror.
Shocked.
I got, well, yeah. Oh,
Gotta think about this
this
for a
changes
long
everything
time.
that I know
I know.
about this show. But despite all that, it was still like, you know, just every time, yeah, when some rando who's like, oh, I like pie, and then he gets hit with a
Yeah, right.
the thing, it's like, well, whatever. But like seeing one of our girls, and especially seeing Chibi get her mirror taken out, is like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I wish the whole season could be like this.
Yeah.
But I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see the next one.
That's fair. I almost gave it a 4. I did. But I gave it
of regret. A Tale by Mikan Hana.
But yeah, but I didn't, so I gave it a 3. So anyways,
Live with it.
I will. My English title is Golden Mirror, Much to Fear.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Been on a rhyming kick lately.
Yeah,
so.
well, you know, that works.
Yeah.
I think, and the Japanese would like that, I think. A little wordplay.
Yeah.
Not a problem. My title is The Final Count Clown.
Oh, no. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 163, Kagami no Meikyu, Torareta Chibi Moon in Japanese, Labyrinth of Mirrors, the Chibi Moon Captured, the English translation, and the English title, The Dark Legend.
The Dark Legend.
Yes.
Oh, boy. This is, okay, I'm just guessing based on 3 words.
Sure.
But this is, you know, bad storytelling. This is when you backfill everything that was, let me explain what happened, what you just saw over the last 2 hours.
Right.
That's a bad movie usually, right?
Yes.
Where just complete random crap happens for the entire time. And at the end, the character goes, and that's when I knew, and here's the thing. And then you thought that it was this, but it was this.
Yes.
Like, I'm not talking about like a locked room mystery where Poirot, you know, gets everybody together and explains. That's what we go to that for.
Yeah,
He's
right.
giving us the key for the lock that was the movie. You know,
Yes.
He's solving the mystery. But yeah, like I don't have any great examples right now. Something, probably a Zack Snyder movie or something like that, where just a bunch of random things happen. And then at the end, a guy goes, oh, but I bet you thought it was this, but it's this.
actually
and
this.
there's something else.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like we're going to get more exposition next time.
I always love a
And
exposition
no
dump.
Esmeralda to transform into a dragon to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Just
I
bring
like-
her back.
bring
She
her
just came
back.
back. She's like, what, you thought I died? I'm a freaking dragon. Just flies in from space.
I'd love that. I would sing her praises.
I would love it too. You know, you see dragons in a lot of different works. I would call that a trope of sorts.
Yes.
Dealing with a dragon in some kind of thing, or George and the dragon. Slaying a dragon is a trope.
Yes.
It's one of many tropes that we confront on our podcast, Just Enough Trope. A podcast that has lasted for, oh man,
Long time.
10 years?
Is it really 10
I
years?
think so, yeah. At least
Oh,
500
wow.
episodes.
Yes.
Until we reconfigured it into a new configuration in which we dive deep on the tropes that you find in popular media. We're talking about
Yes.
TV shows, movies,
Comics.
cartoons, comics, video games, even literature and
Yes.
music as well.
Yeah.
And that is running at justenoughtrope.com and available on any listening platform that you subscribe to. Most recently, our episode was about the Amen break, which I don't know if I need to describe for you. You could just Google it, or you could listen to our episode.
Yeah.
But it is a musical trope that is basically the underpinning of all hip hop and R&B
Yeah.
in the present day.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah,
actually.
it's a fascinating story, and it's an episode that's not really on YouTube because of all the clips, but you can catch it on your listening platform of choice. And we've covered tropes from other mediums as well. We recently talked about the comic book trope of getting your powers from an accident.
Yes.
Which is more common than you'd think.
It's pretty common.
And it also is limited to kind of a specific era of comic books.
Yeah.
I won't spoil the surprise for you, but something was in the water at that time when it's like, a guy just can't be the son of a god or an alien. He's got to get bonked on the head with a can of radioactive paint. And then he's, Radium Man or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, if you like TV shows, movies, comic books, I assume that you do, check it out at justenoughtrope.com or wherever you get your podcasts. On our upcoming episode, we'll be talking about live action Super Sentai shows.
Yes.
And the trope of the Henshin transformation.
Yes.
Which has a little something to do with Sailor Moon.
It does.
Which is why we're bringing it up today.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah,
I'm
check
looking
that
forward
out.
to it.
Just Enough Trope on Twitter or justenoughtrope.com.
Well, that's it for our show this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
This is you bastard!